What's going on, guys, and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to recap my marathon experience and talk a little bit about what's coming in the future as well. So we're going to jump right into this video. My name is Allan Bauer, and I was an Olympic gymnast for the United States. For the past 20 years, I have trained and competed in the sport of gymnastics. Since retiring, I have transitioned into long-distance running. I now have my sights set on the BMW Dallas Marathon, with a goal to finish in under 2 hours and 55 minutes to qualify for the legendary Boston Marathon. Along the way, I will be showing you what my training is like, how I fuel my body, and how I incorporate my 20 years of gymnastics training into my new addiction. Let's see what we are made of. So leading up to the marathon, body was feeling super fresh, ready to go, coming all the way down from 70 miles in a week to about 18 miles in a week. The body felt like it was brand new. Then the day of the marathon, woke up, the weather was pretty much perfect. It was a little windy, but nothing, that I hadn't trained through, nothing that I couldn't handle. And I wasn't really concerned about it at that point. And then got to the race. I was in the first corral, meaning I was the first one to go off. Obviously the pro runners were in front of all of us, but the A corral was the next one out of the starting gate. And I kind of pushed myself to the front just so that I wouldn't have to battle through too many people, and I wouldn't have to, try to weave in and out of people. I could just focus on running a straight route. So kind of pushed myself to the front, and I got those, those competition nerves once again that I haven't felt for a long time. And it got really, really exciting at that point. Took out off the gate, and I started at basically like a 6:45 minute per mile. And I kind of dropped down for the next 10 miles to about 6:35 and was feeling really comfortable, was feeling really happy with, how my body was feeling at that point. Felt like I had done a really good job at preparing, both physically and mentally. Had the nutrition locked in. I was taking 2 gels every 5 miles, so about every, 35 minutes. And feeling really good up until about mile 13. I met up with some, other runners that were kind of running the same pace as me and decided, hey, you guys want to run together? Let's try to shoot for this at the same time. And one of those runners actually had ran a 250 the week before, so he was fairly confident that he could help push us to a 255. Like I said, feeling really good up to that point, and then everything started kind of going a little bit downhill. My body started hurting. I was getting pretty fatigued at that point, mentally, physically. And I was reaching for a chew in my back pocket to kind of get some nutrition, and one of my AirPods fell out of my back pocket and I heard it land. Didn't really know what it was. Turned around and saw it was my AirPod. I was like, oh, gotta go back for it. So ran back. That took about 30 seconds to run back up this hill. And at that point, I was kind of like, why did I do that? I should have just left it. I could have came back for it in the future. But I had already made that mistake and decided that I was just gonna have to try to catch up with the people that I was running with originally. So, picked up the pace and I dropped it down to like a 6:30, caught back up with them. But at that point, I think it was like around mile 14, I was pretty tired. And then I started battling some different things, like why did I do that? I just kind of threw away all this training just for an AirPod. So I kind of like started getting in my own head, and I was like, oh, you've just blew a lot of your energy and things like that. But the guys that I was running with really picked up my morale, and they were like, you can do this, let's just lock in. And then we started looking at each person in front of us like, okay, we're gonna pass them, we're gonna pass them. Eventually that group that we were with kind of dissociated, and I kind of went out in front of them and just kind of tried to keep holding my pace that I was trying to shoot for. Then got to about mile 18 and I was pretty much wiped. I was, feeling very, very tired at that point. And like I had talked about in one of my earlier videos, that mile 20, I knew there was a hill coming up. Just past the hill that's going to be at mile 20 of the actual marathon. And let me tell you, that thing
is brutal. My legs are going to be shot. I'm gonna be trying to run way too fast, and I'm gonna hit that thing like a brick wall. Can't wait.
And the hill was brutal and everything that it was, you know, cracked up to be. I was going from a 6:35 pace, dropped it all the way down on the hill to about a 7:35 pace. And by the time I got up, I was wiped. I had never been in so much pain in my entire life. My legs were completely stiff. Felt like I couldn't breathe, felt like I was hyperventilating. Vision started kind of going a little bit blurry. And so I just really started trying to focus on, you know, just getting one more mile, one more mile, one more mile. And I would say from mile 20 to mile 24 was the worst pain that I've ever been in my entire life. Nothing compares to it. It was tough. It was very, very tough, both physically and mentally. I was battling some demons, you know, some different things that I had been worrying about for the past few months. Some different things from the past that were brought up that I was just thinking like, man, I'm not good enough. And it really taught me a lot about how much I had left to give at that point. Because once I saw my family at mile 24, my spirits were so high. I felt like a new person. And I finished the race basically in a sprint. I think from mile 25 to 26.2, I was running as fast as I possibly could, and this guy at the very end was trying to pass me, and I was like, there's no way that this is happening right now. And it wasn't even about like winning or trying to like, you know, place in a different thing. I just wanted to finish the race as best as I could, and I didn't want to let this guy pass me. So basically finished the race at a sprint, finished the race overall time on my watch was a 2:56 and some change. And my official time was a 2:58 and just like maybe like 4 seconds or something like that. So either way, finished sub 3. I was very proud of myself. The goal was a 2:55, but if I would have known what that course was like going into it, I would have been like sub 3 would be an awesome win for that day, and ended up doing that. So felt very happy about that. Qualified to the Boston Marathon for 2024. And so for now, I'm just kind of taking a little bit of step back from running. I'm gonna focus on some more calisthenics training and doing some more body weight stuff because I really, really enjoy doing that, kind of moving into the new year. And then after that, I really wanna start getting into some Ironman prep, do some Ironman training, maybe start with a half Ironman and then jump into a full, maybe just jump straight into a full. You know, obviously there's gonna be a lot of preparation that's gonna be needed in advance to jump into that, but I think that that's kind of where I want to go and kind of in that direction. What really attracts me to Ironman is that there's 3 different sections. There's a swim, a bike, and a run, and that's similar, you know, kind of to the gymnastics where there's 6 events rather than just 1 event, just like the marathon. So really attracted to that, and you know, I want to kind of push myself to that next limit. I know the marathon, that was brutal, but trying to run a marathon at the end of, you know, 120-mile bike ride and a 2-mile swim, that's just a different animal. So we're gonna see where that goes. The only problem with that right now and starting that right away is just that the equipment is super expensive. So if any of you guys have any recommendations on where to get some cheaper equipment, how to kind of prep for an Ironman, and you guys have been through that experience, I would love to hear from you guys. Send me a DM or just drop a comment down in the comment section. But overall, super happy with how the marathon went. You know, I'm very grateful for my family coming out. I'm grateful for my wife being there and supporting me throughout this entire journey. And I'm very grateful for all of you guys as well for supporting me, sending me comments, sending me some messages, just saying, you know, good luck, you got this, or just from supporting me throughout the entire journey. So really appreciate that and really blessed with this life I have. So thank you guys. But that's just a little bit of the recap of how the marathon went, what's coming in the future, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos.